Well, hello there, Scorpio. How are you? It is always so good to see you. I'm Mary Sue, and I'm so grateful that you're here. So, today we are doing a special reading. We're going to take a look at what September surprise is on the way for you. So, we're going to first take a look at what animal spirit is helping you with this, and then we'll jump into the surprise, the blessing that is on your path. Electric eel, bring your ideas to life. Oh my goodness. This is like a burst of inspiration. This is the energy where you really and truly have this moment where it's kind of like, I want to say, you get complete divine clarity about the path forward. And it's almost like not only is it like an inspiring idea, it could be an idea that you're getting, but it's almost like there's no fog with it. I think that is so interesting that I'm getting that message. So sometimes, we can get an idea, but it's kind of still foggy. It's kind of like in the mist. There is no fog. It is so super clear. There's just no second guessing. There's no doubting. It's kind of like, oh yes, here's the path. Here's the way forward. Here's the idea that will take my business to the next level, whatever it is. It is profound. Oh my goodness. Okay, you also have the lucky break. Okay, so this is that energy that I was receiving, right? It's kind of just like this complete, I just want to say it's just so spot on. You're not going to be able to look at it in any other way except this is divine. Okay, this is from the divine. You're going to know it. Like down, it's almost like it tingles all the way down to your toes. Okay. And you also have ending and reconciliation. Okay, so I feel like this is almost the energy of some type of something that ended in the past. Now, it could be a relationship, but it does not have to be. It can be a path that for one reason or another just kind of like ended. That could be in your career sector. It could be you could be searching for something, searching for a new place to live or searching for a new career, something that ended. Okay, all of a sudden with the reconciliation card, it's a second chance. That's what reconciliation is. It's a second chance at something that you thought ended. And the reason is because you needed a new perspective. Look, you have the courage underneath. It's kind of like something ended, so you could go on this divine detour to gain courage and perseverance in order to have the strength to see something now to the end. So, I mean, this could be a creative project that you put on the back burner. It was like, yep, just losing kind of interest in it, or you hit an impasse, right? It's like, it's just not going to work. It's something near and dear to your heart, though. Look at what's coming out. Milk and honey. This is the 10 of Cups. Something that's near and dear to your heart that you really and truly, it's almost kind of like you could have even, with this card, it's the courage card, but look, praying that this would come back together, whatever this is. I don't know why they keep saying book. There could be a book that you wanted to write or even started to write a long time ago. And it's kind of like, the message I'm getting is that this could have really been like a long time ago. You could have been writing this book, had some inspiration to write this book. And then life happened, okay? Whatever happened, you had to put the book down. Whether you lost interest in it or something else came into your life that you had to put your time and energy into that. And it's almost like you're cleaning out a closet, okay, and come across the book and you start reading the book that you've been writing, right? It's just your manuscript or whatever. And all of a sudden, you now know where this book needs to go. Maybe you got to a certain point in the book and it was kind of like, I just don't know how it's going to end or whatever. And the reason is, and I think this is so funny, because I have a Scorpio rising and I actually have a book that I started, I don't know, 10 years ago, right? And it's kind of like you had to go live life for a little bit. You got the book to a certain point, say, and it does not have to be a book, but you got some project perhaps to a certain point, and then you had to go live life. You had to encounter something on your path so that you could come back and have the ending that makes your book, your project, your career, your business, whatever this is, successful. It's like you had to, look, you had the teacher card. You had to go learn something, right? You had to have some experience that helps. Wow. Friends, family, friends, and guides. Yes. I feel like there's this energy where you understand now. You couldn't finish whatever this was, or if you had finished it, it never would have made the impact in the world that it is meant to make, because you were missing some experience. And I have a feeling it could be a very painful experience, right? Yeah, you were attached. You were attached to something, right? The devil with the 3 of Cups. You were attached to something, and it could be a reconciliation with a person, right? Or a group of people. You were attached to a certain type of, it had to work out in a certain way. And now what you're recognizing is, no, it does not. Okay, so in other words, you were like, the book, this relationship, this job, this career, this business, okay, you were convinced that it had to play out in a certain way. You could have been having that thought because you have the consciousness of lack. You could have been wanting this all to work out in a certain way to help you to feel more worthy, okay, of abundance, of being recognized or acknowledged in some way, whether that's in like your career sector or in relationships. There's almost this energy of there was something toxic, an underlying toxic energy around what you were trying to create. Wow. It's kind of like you had an ulterior motive. I'm going to put it that way. Okay, so it's kind of like a subconscious. It could have been subconscious. It could have been conscious. But you had an ulterior motive. And what this detour that you've been on, okay, and maybe it's like 10 years like mine, right? It's kind of like you thought that if you could get this to work, look, you have the sun, you have optimism, you have the 10 of Cups, that your life would fall into place, into this almost picture perfect way of living, okay? The way that you had imagined that you wanted your life to be. But what you're understanding, it's almost like this whole scenario gives you the clarity to understand that what was underlying in all of that was toxic. That it wasn't really your 10 of Cups and the sun. It almost like you had to go on this other path to find that clarity, to now come back, okay, and either reconcile with someone, okay, or a group of people, because we do have family and friends, right? Or to finish something that you started previously, that for one reason or another came to an impasse. This is the energy of understanding that something had to be cut out of your life. Chop wood, okay? So chop wood is the energy of doing things that are good for you on a daily basis, right? eating nutritiously, drinking your water, getting your sleep, right? It's doing those things on a daily basis and being consistent with that because you just know it's good for you. Now, here's the other thing with the chopped wood is that thinking of your life like a big oak tree, and every limb on the tree represents a different sector of your life or different mindsets, different beliefs. There's been a toxic belief that you have had, okay, that represents one of the limbs on the tree. And that belief has been toxic, has been diseased, is pulling your energy from the other branches on your tree. So therefore, you couldn't really thrive. You couldn't grow into this amazing, this is just amazing energy, right? You couldn't go there until you had the courage to go back and look at the limbs on your tree and understand one of these is diseased. And I really feel like for you in this situation, the limbs represent different mindsets or beliefs. And you're understanding that belief is toxic. That belief is preventing me from moving forward, maybe even reconciling with someone, right? Allowing yourself to see a new perspective of this whole thing allows this lucky break, allows you to literally almost reignite your passion for life, why you're here, the impact you want to make. It takes courage, though, because I almost feel like this limb is so entrenched. It's kind of like, say you had a big, beautiful oak tree, and this is like one of the biggest limbs, okay? And, beautiful old oak trees, right? The bottom limbs can be just massive, right? And they can have such a beautiful structure to them. It's not just a limb. It can go out. It can look like an arm. Maybe this is a limb you have wanted to sit on, or you do sit on, and you watch the birds in the tree, and you've really fallen in love, okay, with this limb. But the arborist comes out and says, well, that limb has to go. And you're like, what? That's my favorite limb of the whole tree. I love that limb. And the arborist says it's full of disease. It's preventing the rest of the tree from growing. It's literally draining the tree of its life force. But it's something you've had for a long time. It's the oldest limb on the tree, right? It really does go back to childhood, maybe to a previous life. It's been in your life for so long that it's hard to cut that limb off. It's hard to look at life in a different way. This is I'm not going to say almost, this is enlightenment, right? This is understanding, whoa, that belief, that mindset has to go. It's the only way. And, I feel like for some of you, this could actually be a reconciling of your own soul. Like maybe you have allowed yourself to give a part of yourself away, okay? You may have ended a part of who you really and truly are in order to fit in or whatever this is. And all of a sudden, this is almost like soul retrieval. Like you're allowing yourself to come back home because you're recognizing that limb is just diseased. I have to allow myself to let it go. When you have the courage to do that, all of a sudden, life opens up for you in such a beautiful new way. It's a brand new way of looking at life, right? And that can take a lot of courage to allow yourself to look at life in a completely different way of recognizing, yeah, I've lived with that limb for so long, but that limb is preventing me from really and truly stepping into who I really am. Yes. This is probably, like if you have lived your life mostly in the 3D. You could, Scorpio, you're very intuitive, very spiritual, right? But trying to kind of live between two worlds. This is almost the energy of understanding I can't balance that anymore. I've been observing life instead of living my life. And it's almost like this lucky break is actually a break, right? Yeah, it brings you joy, right? It's just the sense of it brings you freedom and joy. It does not necessarily mean that you're breaking from people. It just means that you're breaking from trying to live your life pleasing those people. Yeah. Wow. Beautiful. Okay, let's pull a soul truth card for you, Scorpio. And I do personal readings, so if you're interested, the link is in the description box below. I'd really be honored to do a reading for you. What do I believe about money, and do my beliefs match my dreams? I think that's so funny, because I was getting that message about, kind of like living in the 3D versus the 5D, the materialistic world versus the wanting to make an impact on the world, right? Perhaps let's go back to the book scenario. Okay, perhaps when you were writing your book previously, you were writing it so that you could sell a zillion copies and make a lot of money, right? Maybe there was the ulterior motive, I'm going to become a famous author so that my family and friends will know that I'm a good writer and acknowledge me, love me, finally, because of the worthiness, right? There's this energy of trying to make something really work in order to conform, okay, and please other people in your life that maybe are part of your family tree, right? Going back to the tree. This is the energy of, I'm not here to make money. This is the energy of, I want to make an impact on the world. I want to have this connection with the people that read my book. So I have something to share. I have something I want to tell the world, right? So you're rewriting it. It's like you're going back and rewriting the book. You're reading the book and you're like, oh my goodness, this is not in alignment with the way I see the world now. So you're going back and you're rewriting the book in order to make that impact on the world, and not worrying so much about the money or how, or the acknowledgement from your family or the world, right? You're doing it from the love, from the soul. You're allowing yourself to step into the role of, I have a story to share. I want to share my insight and wisdom, my experiences here on earth. I want to share that with others. I want to help others. So instead of doing it for money, you're doing it for service. Wow, powerful. And it all does. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's come back, right? That you may have a mindset around money or beliefs around money that all of a sudden you're recognizing have held you back in so many ways in your own life. Right? It's been one branch of the tree, but it has truly impacted the other branches. And you're understanding this is something I need to heal, right? I need to get in there and uproot that and determine what I feel, okay, how I feel about money. Money is energy. Money is a tool that we can use. Money is not good or bad, right? It's a tool. It can help us. And I feel like what you're doing is you're recognizing how can I rethink money and what money can provide, not just for me and my family, but how can it also make an impact on the world? How can I use it to my best benefit and the benefit of others instead of what can it buy me? Okay. Wow. Very, very interesting. Very interesting. I can say I can totally resonate with that. I had a little bit of that epiphany myself recently. All right, I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Scorpio, for being here. I really and truly do appreciate it. And I appreciate all your support by liking, commenting, and subscribing. Bye for now.